This meeting is being recorded.
Good afternoon, all. If some of you can switch on, for whomever it is possible, can switch on your videos also, so that I can get some sort of feedback from the other side. Okay, I am Dr. Raja. I am going to take the left out portion of the geography, that is India physical setting, natural vegetation, climate. Okay, in physical setting, we will be dealing about the what are all the landforms in India totally, and then we will also check out the drainages. What are all the drainage patterns? What are all the river basins? Those things we will deal in the physical setting, and then further we will move on to check the climates, including monsoon. Monsoon you would have read already. It would have been dealt already in climatology. Again, which are very relevant to Indian context. So that monsoon topics we will deal here, and then the natural vegetation and the distribution part of the hazards and disasters like earthquake, flooding, only the geographical aspect, the management aspect, and then the disaster management aspect and all you will be studying in other classes which are related to disaster management and then environment. All this chapter, all these classes you will be studying about the mitigation and adaptation, what and all the measures and all you will be. So only we will deal here the geographical distribution of such natural hazards in India. So these are the largely the topics to be covered by me in the following sessions. 3 sessions are scheduled for this. Let's see. We will try to complete within the 3 sessions. Excuse me. Okay. So those who want to switch on their videos, please hand raise. So it would be enabled from here. Okay. So it would definitely be of help for me to get some feedback. Then another one general a suggestion to you. If you are a geography optional student, then this class, the classes which are going to be dealt by me will not be of much value addition to you, because you would have learned and dealt these topics in much more detail in your optional geography. Okay, so whether in this institute or in some other institute you have already completed optional geography or like that, you can very well skip these classes. Okay, since these classes are not going to be a much of value addition for you. Okay, for others, yeah, it would be a value addition, so you can very well attend this. And then regarding this Indian geography, it is, you all know, it is an application of the physical geography which you have learnt in other classes. Like another 15 classes might have been there for physical geography. There you might have learned the processes, the mechanism, everything, geomorphic processes, the forces, everything you might have learnt in those classes. And then how mountains are built, how the rivers are, the erosion happens, how the rivers, the rills form and then gullies form and then they form into a valley and river, the gradients and all you would have dealt in physical geography. Here Indian geography is more of application part. In Indian perspective, where the mountains are there, which are the mountains, how are the mountains, okay, where the plateaus are, like that it is application. And mostly in prelims point of view, it is terminologies, like what and all the terms we have to associate with which type of landforms. For example, if it comes to drainage pattern, what and all the terms, dendritic drainage means what, okay, where it is there. Radial drainage means what, where it is there. And similarly, in the Himalaya, when it comes to Himalayan mountains, what are all the ranges, what are all the peaks, what are all the glaciers, like this. More of factual and terminology oriented learning is necessary for prelims. For mains, the same thing need to be described in words, and good drawing skills are necessary. Like you have to, you should learn to draw the map of India and mark the places very neatly. That itself will cover up for your writing also. You can simply mark everything on the map and you can mention in a single line the factual aspects are all shown in the map. Okay, you can only write about the whatever the concept or the explanation what you need to do. That alone you can explain in the answer as writer. Remaining everything you can simply portray your knowledge in the form of map. Okay, that is the main way of dealing the subject. Okay, so these are the general things I like to share with you. And I usually say this disclaimer, since this group is large and varied nature. Some of you might have been geography optional students. Some of you might have learned even Indian geography somewhere else. So something might be looking very basic for you. Something might be looking complex for you. For a few of you, it might be a little bit more complex. For a few of you, it would be a little bit basics due to variety of the aspirants we have in the session. So we have to be tolerable to some extent. Okay. So whatever being taught, it will help someone else. Okay. Don't feel let down if it is very complex, or don't be bored if it is very basic. Okay. Please be tolerant. And then, like, you can always, I will check once in 15 minutes or so, I will check my chat box. Again, you can raise any queries if it is very pertinent. The queries can be curious nature also, simply for the sake of asking, or to know a little bit extra, or what you have learned from some hearsay and all. I would suggest you to avoid those curious sort of queries. Any like sincere questions, like you have come across in some question papers, or whatever is being taught, if it is not understandable for you, then you can raise the query. Okay. Example for curious query, I can always cite. Whenever I teach the first lesson, Origin of Earth, they used to go and ask about the interstellar movie. What is a wormhole? What is a black hole? All these things. It is good to understand those things, but this is not the forum. Okay. We will stick on to the syllabus part. Okay. So that is one request from my side. Then we will straight away go to the India physical setting. In India physical setting, some factual parts are there, like from what latitude to what latitude the India is located, from what longitude to what longitude the India is located, and then what is the northernmost point, what is the southernmost point. So like this, what is the altitude wise, which is the highest mountain, like that, which is the largest river basin in India. Like that, there may be many factual questions. So sometimes while asking for prelims, especially for prelims, they can put such facts along with some statements. Okay, some of these facts can be a part of a statement. Definitely they will not ask you that. The fact alone will not be the main question. Okay, but in the statements, some of these facts may feature, and based on that, you have to decide whether the statement is right or not, and you have to choose options. So for that sake, I would suggest you to go through, not to memorize, but to go through all these facts. Okay, from all standard textbooks use those facts. Okay, what is the latitude, longitude, all these things. Even Atlas gives that fact. Even whatever the atlas you have, that atlas will be having the first page, it will be having the what is the geographical area, what is the extent and all. So I'm not going to deal about those things. So I will request you to do that by yourself. Okay, straight away we'll go to the India geological regions. So geologically, India can be divided into 3 parts. Okay, the peninsular block, the oldest part actually. The peninsular block is the oldest region in India. And then the Himalayas, you know that young fold mountains. Himalaya is an example for young fold mountain, and then Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Okay, these are the geologically three parts we have. Okay, the peninsular block. So before that, before dealing with the peninsular block, all the parts of India map, all this part are on a single plate. We don't have any divergent, or within India we don't have any boundary, plate boundary. Everything is in Indian plate. Okay, which was Indo-Australian plate, and we have slightly moving away. So Indo-Australian, part of Indo-Australian plate or Indian plate only. Okay, the entire Indian landmass is present over the Indian plate only. It is one of the major tectonic plate. Okay, then peninsular India is the oldest part. Okay, and it is formed due to the peninsular India has many faults, the Vindhya Satpura fault, and then here the Bhima fault. Many faults are there in the known for the faults. You know what is faulting? Okay, whenever the blocks, the earthen plates, the tectonic plates, when they move apart, the middle portion is let down. This is normal fault. This is due to tensional force. The force pull apart the plates, so the middle block, due to the support is lost, and then it will come down. This is normal fault. Due to compressional force, sometimes the middle block stand where it is, but these side blocks may rise up. Okay, this is reverse fault. This is normal, this is reverse fault. Okay, so such activity is very common and in the peninsular India. And then geologically they are, I told that they are very old system of rocks. Old system of rocks. Faulting is seen. Faults are there, and characterized by relict mountains. Relict mountains means the mountain, all the landforms which have been eroded due to, because of the oldness only. It is in the old stage of development. So most of the, initially it would have been like this. The landmass would have been like this. Okay. Now due to erosion and all this upper portion is removed. Only the relict we have. This much portion is removed. Okay. So only the remnant of the whatever the earlier landform we have now. Like this. The entire landform has been eroded. So it is full of relict mountains. So we will stop with this. Whenever when I am dealing with the peninsular block, I will tell you more about the peninsular India. Each part, what is this plateau made up of? The Deccan Plateau, upper Deccan, lower Deccan, how it is different. Then central highlands, how the central highlands are different, how the Chota Nagpur Plateau, everything individually I will deal separately when I am dealing with the peninsular India. Okay. Himalayas, you know, it is young alpine fold mountain. Geologically, this is the description for Himalaya. Okay. Young because very recently formed mountain. Very recently formed mountain. If you know the geological time scale, you can mention it. Otherwise, you can simply recent mountains. For GS, it is sufficient to say they are the recent mountains. Okay. Alpine fold mountains, because Alps is also similar kind of mountain. So we call it as alpine fold mountain. Fold mountain because it is formed due to folding. The two plates, the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate, they converge. They both converge. Both are what? Continental plates. Both are continental plates. There is no much of difference between the density of the plates. If one plate density is more, it will go down. The other plate will override. But here, since both the plates density are equal, they both collide and crumple and just forms the Himalayas. Okay. So, due to compressional force, folds are created. These folds are the Himalayan mountains. Okay, Himalayas are found. Okay, this much is sufficient here. I will, when I am dealing with the Himalayas, again I will deal it in more detail, like how the folds are formed, how the boundaries, where it is to be marked in the Himalayas. Okay, then the plains. When the folds are being formed in the Himalayas, the lower, this is known as, whenever you see a wave fold, the top portion is known as anticline. Anticline, anti-C-L-I-N-E, cline. The lower portion is known as syncline. So, when these two plates collided, this plain became a depression. Plain became a depression like this. Himalayas formed here. Before the Himalayas, there is a depression was formed. So, whatever had been eroded from Himalaya, that got settled in this syncline. Geosyncline, because it is in the earth. Geo is earth, syncline. Okay, geosyncline was there. So, in that syncline, the deposits from the Himalaya, whatever has been eroded from Himalaya by the rivers, that is deposited here, and due to such deposition, the Gangetic plain, Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra plain has been formed. So, it is synclinal origin. Synclinal origin is the synclinal origin is the geology of Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Again, we will deal more when we are looking at topics individually. Okay, again I forgot to tell you, whatever I am teaching, it is going to be largely based on NCERT, India Physical Environment, NCERT. At least the topics I will take from NCERT. The points which I am telling may be from partially from NCERT and partially from Majid Hussain, Indian Geography. So, it is an optional book. You need not buy it, but even if you are buying it, don't have it as a text, but you can refer always. Some topics you can refer always. Indian Geography by Majid Hussain. So, I am going to add some points from Majid Hussain, but largely it will be following the India Physical Environment book. Okay. This classification is given in NCERT only. So, India Physiography is divided into the northern and northeastern mountains, largely Himalayas. Then northern plains, the Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra plain. Then peninsular plateau, Indian desert, coastal plains, islands. This requires no further explanation, I think. We can directly go into individual topics. Okay, now Himalayas. So, they are tectonic in origin. What is tectonic in origin? I told you, they are formed due to plate tectonics. So, the Indian plate, this side, the Eurasian plate, this side, both were there, and both are continental plates. Both are continental, not oceanic. Both are continental plates. The Indian plate is going and hitting the Eurasian plates. So, the plate buckles and folds and forms the Himalayas. Himalayas. So it is known as tectonic origin. It is formed due to tectonics. And I told you, young and weak and flexible mountains. It is relatively, sir, how are you telling that mountain as flexible, weak? Okay, it is relatively compared to the other relic mountains, other plateaus and all. These mountains are weak and flexible mountains. Okay, and subjected to various forces. Forces means here it is geomorphic forces. Geomorphic means geo earth, morphic means shape. Okay, earth shaping forces. What are all the earth shaping forces? Again, the weathering, erosion, mass movements, all these things are the processes, but forces are the precipitation, wind, all these things. Precipitation, rainfall, temperature, everything comes under forces. Okay, subjected to forces. So it has many faults, folds and thrust. Okay. Again, you know what is fold? We will see it once again. What is a fault? A fault is due to the two blocks of rocks or earth crust move away, tensional. This tend to move downwards because the support is lost. Okay, this is known as fault. Okay, but Himalayas have less number of faults comparatively, but we have thrust more because the plates are colliding against each other. Actually, the plate override like this. They move like this due to compressional force. This is known as thrust. Thrust is a other name for reverse fault. I told you this is normal fault. This is normal fault. When the block is moving away, the middle block being let down is a normal fault. Okay, the example is Vindhya Satpura. Vindhya Satpura range. That is an example for normal faulting. So the Vindhya and Satpura ranges are the two block mountains which are created, and the valley is occupied by a river, Narmada. It is occupied by a river. This is an example for normal fault. Thrust is like due to compressional force, the side blocks actually override the middle block. The middle block stays where it is, but only the side blocks move upward. Okay, this is a thrust. Thrust is another name for reverse fault. Thrust is also called as reverse fault. Okay, such faults, thrust, and I told you about fold. Folds are present in the Himalayas. Okay, these things can be will be of use in mains. If you are asked to write about Himalayas, these are the description you can give about Himalayas. In prelims, these words can be finding a part in the sentence. Himalayas is characterized by many falls, folds and thrust. So you should not feel that it is not there, whether it is there or not. And then the next point is dissected by many young rivers. Okay. Again, what is an young river? We will deal it when we are dealing with the drainage system of India. The rivers, when we are dealing, we will deal the what is an young river. Okay, the Himalayas is everywhere, like you know, there will be, whenever you go to Himalayas also, you will find many streams. One is because of precipitation, another is because of melting of glaciers. Okay, so you find many streams, rivers. So those rivers tend to erode the mountain. I told you here it is weak and flexible, and young river means it is forcible due to the slope. due to the gradient, gravity, the river flow with high velocity. So because of that, young river and weak flexible mountain is an ideal situation for more erosion. The velocity of the river would be more, so the eroding capacity of the river will also be more. So because of that, it will be highly eroding tendency would be there. So dissected means it would be here and there separated. Dissected means it is cutting like. So many rivers will cut the Himalayas. Okay. So in the process, gorges, V-shaped valleys, rapids, waterfalls are common occurrence in Himalayas. So I will remove that part. What is a gorge? What is a V-shaped valley? What is a rapid? What is a waterfall? Okay. A gorge is a place where there will be the valley sides. Okay, this is a valley, this is a hill. Okay, this we will understand. The valley sides are, here the river will be flowing. Valley sides are steep and almost straight and parallel. Okay, this is a gorge. Valley sides are almost straight. It won't be this straight, geometrical straight, but it would be almost straight and parallel. Then it is called as gorge. Okay. So Himalayan rivers will have many gorge. So we will see when you are dealing with the rivers where such gorges are formed. Okay. Even Brahmaputra, while entering into India, the Namcha-Barwa, near the Namcha-Barwa is the place in Arunachal Pradesh. So there it forms a gorge when it enters into India. So like that, when we are dealing with the individual river, Indus also form a gorge, Sutlej form a gorge. So we will see there. So what is a gorge, you now understand. And then what is a V-shaped valley? It is understandable. Okay. The valley is V-shaped. V-shaped. The side slopes of the valley is V-shaped. So river flows here. Then rapids. Waterfall is, there is a hill. There is a hill. How waterfalls get formed? The hill is here. Suddenly, there is a resistant rock here. There is a resistant rock. One resistant rock is here. Okay. The other rocks are easily erodable rock. What will happen? This water will erode. How it will erode? It will erode like this. And here also it will to some extent erode like this. So now I am removing the eroded part. This part is eroded by the water. If that is removed, this is removed, and these are all eroded. Up to this portion it is eroded. What will happen now? Water will flow here, and then from here it will fall here. So whenever you find a resistant rock that create a nick points, that points are known as nick points. So it create a waterfalls. When the water falls, the height is very small and have multiple levels like this. Then it is known as cascades actually. Cascades. Okay. What is a rapid? Rapid is a small waterfall. If it is multiple, then it is known as cascades. like this it will fall, and then like this it will fall. But if it is a small waterfall where the speed of the river is very high, then it is known as rapid. The meaning is very rapid, means very speed, very high velocity. Okay, so these things would be there in the Himalayas. With these points you can explain the geology, how the Himalayan geology is there. Okay, we'll move on. No, every river does not form gorge. Only young rivers. For example, Kaveri, I don't think it has a Hokenakal can be like partially it is a gorge. Okay, but other rivers may not be forming a very clear-cut gorge. Okay, not every river will be forming a gorge. Whenever the river come across a river is should be an young river, and it should come across a like this weak flexible rock materials for erosion, then it might form a gorge. The peninsular rivers don't form gorges and all. Even V-shaped valley is also very rare phenomenon in the peninsular rivers. Okay, then we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, now we have seen the description about the Himalayas as such. Now we are going to see the how the Himalayas exactly, like what it is, where it is, what is the height, sort of thing, what are the divisions, all these things we are going to see. So Himalayas consist of three parallel mountain ranges. Three parallel mountain ranges. Okay. The names are Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas, and Shivaliks. Trans Himalayas is that side of Himalaya. Okay, northern aspect of Himalayas. Usually some authors don't take that as Trans Himalayas as part of Himalayas, but our NCERT marks that also as a part only, so you can have that. Trans Himalayas, so including Trans Himalayas, it is totally four ranges. Trans Himalayas, Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas, Shivaliks are the outer Himalayas. So we will see one by one. The direction of the range, you know. What is the direction of the range? From northwest, we will go to the map slide. Okay, the direction of the range from here, northwest to southeast and east, and then from northeast to slightly towards southwest. Okay, this is the direction. The Himalayan direction is this one. You can describe by words in mains, or the direction can be seen in the map. Like that you can show it on the map also. You need not write northwest to slightly to northeast, and then from northeast to towards southwest. Okay, the direction and alignment of Himalayas can be seen on the map showing the Himalayas. Like that you can mention and you can show it. Okay, so approximately 2500 kilometer is the length, and 160 to 400 kilometer is the width. Okay, again we will go and see that. Total length is 2400 kilometer. This width is 160 to 400 kilometers. So the significance of Himalaya, it is a physical, climatic, drainage and cultural divide. You know what is physical? Physically also it is dividing the people who are on the north of it and south of it, and more a divide before invention of the flights and all. Okay, now we can move. Physical divide, climatic divide. It doesn't allow the polar cold winds from the subpolar mid-latitude region towards the Indian subcontinent. Climatic barrier, drainage barrier. Whatever the river rainwater falls on our side, like Indian side, it is coming towards the south. So it is a drainage barrier. And then cultural divide. Okay, here you can see the cross section of Himalayas. Okay, this is a very good diagram. You can use it for mains. Okay, very easy diagram also. Okay, you have to simply put you have to simply put 1, 2, 3, and then on that side like this. Okay, like this. You have to keep on, 1, 2, 3, 3. So you have to label it. This is what? This is lesser Himalayas, greater Himalayas. This is I'm forgetting here. What is that? Shivaliks. Okay, Shivaliks. This is again gone. Trans Himalayas, like that. This is greater Himalayas, lesser Himalayas, Shivaliks. Here this side Trans Himalayas, Tibetan Plateau, like this. So you can simply mark it. But so Shivaliks, outer Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas are mid Himalayas, greater Himalayas. Then this Ladakh and Kailash range together known as Trans Himalayas. These two together known as Trans Himalayas, and then Tibet Plateau, and then Kunlun Mountains. Kunlun Mountain, that side. Okay. Here beyond the Shivalik, you have the Shivalik or outer Himalayas. This side it is Ganga plain, Gangetic plain. You can draw this very easily. Okay. So now I told you about thrust. Okay, the thrust, where and all the thrusts are there. You can see the one faulting, two thrust. These are the main thing. Actually, geologists will be discussing about many thrust, but for us, you can take note of these two thrust and one fault. This is known as HFF. HFF is known as Himalayan front fault, where it is between Indo-Gangetic plain and Shivalik. Indo-Gangetic plain and Shivalik. Himalayan front fault. I told you what is a fault. If it is let down, this portion is let down. Because of that only the plain is formed. Gangetic plain is formed. So it is known as fault. Himalayan front fault between Indo-Gangetic plain and Shivalik mountains. Then MBT. MBT is between Shivalik and Lesser Himalayas. Shivalik and Lesser Himalayas. It is known as main boundary thrust. Main boundary thrust. Then between the Lesser Himalayas and Greater Himalayas, we have MCT, which is known as main central thrust. Okay, these two thrust and one fault you can remember, and you can, if at all asked, in the mains also you can write about. Okay, this cross sectional diagram you can draw and you can write in the mains also. We will move ahead. So Himalayan front fault, main boundary thrust and main central thrust. Okay, now we will check one by one the ranges. So some of you are telling video is breaking. Is it so? Okay. So the subheading slide, this is not necessary because it is exactly the same as in your NCERT. So you can take it from the NCERT also. But this thrust and faults are not there in NCERT. This thrust and faults are not there in NCERT. Okay, next we will move on to the ranges, Trans Himalayas. So as it has been given there, it is 40 km wide, made up of tertiary granite. Tertiary is the geological period where it was when it was formed, and it contains Tethys sediments and fossil. So you may be able to relate it with plate tectonics. So initially it was Pangaea, Panthalassa. This is Pangaea. Center is Pangaea. Surrounding ocean is Panthalassa. So this Pangaea broke into two. Laurasia Gondwana land. This is Tethys. So the middle, when the land broke, the Tethys Sea was formed. And what happened later, after all breaking, this Tethys was remaining. The Eurasia was here, the Indian plate was moving like this. This Tethys is here. So it, along with the Tethys sediment, whatever the Tethys Sea was having sediment, along with that sediment, the plate went and collapsed with the Eurasia. Eurasian plate and Indian plate, when they collided with each other, in between Tethys sediment was there. In between Tethys ocean was there, that was narrowed, and that the sediment was also raised. Sediment was also raised into mountain. So this is an evidence for plate tectonics. Tethys sediment being found in Trans Himalayas is again an evidence for plate tectonics theory. Okay, so what are all there? Tertiary granite is there. Tethys sediments are also there in the, and Tethys sediments along with the fossils are there in the Trans Himalayas. Trans Himalayas are made up of 4 ranges: Karakoram, Ladakh, Saskar, Kailash. We will see one by one. Karakoram is somewhere here. The range is like this. And then Ladakh range is like this. Saskar is like this. Kailash range is like this. Okay. Kailash is little bit lower. Kailash range is like this. Okay. This is Karakoram. This is Ladakh. Saskar, this is Kailash. So now we will about each range. Okay. So to take down, you can take it down. I'm going to say few points about each range. Okay. The average elevation of Karakoram is 5,500 meter. meter. Around approximately 150 meter wide. 150 meter wide. Importance is Siachen Glacier is on this range. Siachen Glacier is on this range. Apart from Siachen, there are other three important glacier actually. Biafo, Baltora, I will write. Siachen, Biafo, Baltora, and Hisper. These are the four important glaciers. Okay. I had given the order is from east to west. Easternmost at the top and westernmost at the bottom. Okay, like this I have given. Sometimes they may ask you to arrange it from east to west, like that and all. Relative location you have to do it while map reading. Okay, while seeing the map you have to be familiar with the relative location of these land features. So whatever I have given, Siachen, Biafo, Baltora, Hispar is east to west. So the major peaks are K2 Bum, K2 and Gasherbum. K2, Mount K2 and Gasherbum are important peaks. Next, coming to the Ladakh range. Okay. Ladakh range, it is just below the Karakoram range. Just below means towards the southern aspect of the Karakoram range. The average elevation is around 6,000 meter. Here, the range is between the Ladakh range is between Indus River and Shiok River. Indus River and Shiok River. The northern aspect it is Shiok River, southern aspect it is Indus River. Shiok comes and falls into Indus. Okay, the range lies between Indus River and Shiok River. So you can, on the northern side of the Ladakh range, Shiok River flows. Southern side it is Indus River which is flowing. Okay, the Ladakh range inside China or the Tibet, it is known as Kailash. It is continuation of Ladakh into Tibet or China is the Kailash range. Highest peak is Stoke Kongri. Tokangri is the highest peak in the Ladakh range. Okay, then coming to the Saskar or Sanskar range. Some book it is mentioned as ZAN, some Saskar. Okay. Average elevation is 5,800 meter. Not necessary, but approximately you can write it around there. Okay. 5,800 meter is the average elevation. No need to memorize and remember and all. Okay. Nanga Parbat is the highest point. Nanga Parbat. Nanga Parbat is the highest peak. It extends into Pakistan as Rakaposhi range. Rakaposhi. Into Pakistan, it is known as Rakaposhi. Saskar. Rakaposhi. Okay, then coming to the Kailash range. The average elevation is around 5,500 meter. 5,500 meter. Highest peak is Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash. Lakes like Mansarovar, Rakshatal are located near this mountain. Manasarovar Lake. Rakshastal Lake. It is from this, nearby this lake, the Indus River originate. Indus, Brahmaputra, both the rivers originate from surrounding to this region only, nearby the Kailash range. Okay, that's it about the Kailash range. Kailash range, average height is 5,500. Mount Kailash is the highest peak. It is associated with two important lakes, Manasarovar and Rakshastal. Okay, we have seen the Trans Himalayas. Now we will move on to the Greater Himalayas. Greater Himalayas. So next to the Trans Himalayas is the Greater Himalayas. It is a continuous range. You can see the width, length and height, average height you can see there. It is a continuous range from here to till the northeast Himalayas. It is a continuous range. Okay, it is made up of crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. You might have learnt in rocks what is igneous and what is metamorphic. When a magma, molten rock material solidify, and because of that if a rock is formed, it is known as igneous rock, and due to pressure and heat, if different rock get metamorphosed into another form of rock, then it is known as metamorphic rock. Okay, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is a continuous range. The southern slope is steep, but northern slope is gentle. So it is known as hogback. Hogback means this is the cross section of the Greater Himalayas. The southern slope is very steep, but the northern slope is gentle, like this. This is known as hogback. Towards Tibetan side, this is north. This is south. Southern is steep. Northern side, it is gentle slope. So it is known as hogback. So we will see what are all the peaks, glacier and passes separately. Because it is an extensive range, we will see the peaks, glaciers, passes separately. I will show you. And it is also known as Himadri. The Greater Himalayas are also known as Himadri. No other individual range like Saskar, Kailash, Ladakh, like that. There is no individual ranges. It is a continuous range. Himadri or Greater Himalayas. So we will move on to the Lesser Himalayas. So you can again see the height, width. It is made up of slate, limestone, quartzite. Slate, limestone, quartzite. They are this quartzite and slate are metamorphic rock, but limestone can be either sedimentary or metamorphic. Both way it can be formed. Okay. They are unfossiliferous. They don't contain any fossils. The mid Himalayas or the lesser Himalayas, they don't have any fossils. Unfossiliferous sediments. So they are sedimentary rock and metamorphosed crystalline rocks. Okay. So slate and quartzites are straight away metamorphic rock. Limestone can be both sedimentary and metamorphic. It is autochthonous, which means partially, not fully it is made up of sediments, and partially the lesser Himalayas, autochthonous means it is a original rock. It is not formed from any other rock. Okay, it is a original rock. Maybe this sedimentation is because the prior to this plate tectonic movement and collision, whatever the sedimented things in the Tethys Sea, that is showing as sediment. It is not the eroded material from the Greater Himalayas which have formed the lesser Himalayas. Okay, it is autochthonous means they have been originated by themselves. It is original in origin. Okay, and the geological time is also mentioned here. Okay, so during that time it has been originated. It is subjected to extensive erosion. So now it is subjected to extensive erosion. So the same point did not come in previous slide. Some of you are asking to show. Okay, take down. Sorry, some of you are asking for the previous slide showing that. So while you are taking, there is a question, and a good question. How come Trans Himalayas is sedimentary while Greater Himalayas is igneous? It is another other name of Greater Himalaya. Himadri is other name of Greater Himalaya. You people need to concentrate more on what I am saying rather than taking notes. Okay, these things are there in the NCERT. Okay, one question is there. Sir, you have told that Trans Himalayas are having fossils and they are made up of sediments. But the Greater Himalayas is igneous rock, not a sedimentary rock. How is that possible? Good question. So any answer from any one of you? Why Trans Himalayas is sediment? Okay, good. Many of you are getting it right. So I am answering the question, why Trans Himalayas is sedimentary and Greater Himalaya is igneous. Okay. So this was the Indian plate. This was the Eurasian plate. This was the Tethys Sea. Okay, from both these plates, sediment would have settled here in the Tethys Sea. The rivers would have brought sediment and the settled would be here. Okay. So when it collided, initially when it collided, the first mountain which is to be erupted, that will have more of Tethys sediments. But the Greater Himalayas is later mountain to be formed. And this side, the first mountain to be formed is Kunlun Mountains. That will also be having the sediments more. This side is Trans Himalayas. We call it as in geosynclines. For optional students, we take that the central portion is the median mass. It will be raised like a median mass. It is known as median mass. Here the median mass is Tibet Plateau. Plateau bounded by two mountains. That side it is Kunlun Mountains. This side it is Trans Himalayas. They will be having more of sediments, Tethys sediments. The next formed mountain is the Greater Himalayas. And then next is the our Lesser Himalayas. And then the Shivaliks. So again, only after this Tethys is totally occluded, it has become continent-continent convergence. Before that, at this time, this is ocean-continent convergence. So the oceanic plate might have gone here and it might have been melted and came out as volcanic also. During that time, volcanicity might be a prominent feature here and here also. When the Tethys Sea was there, only after this totally occluded and these plates started hitting each other, the volcano has gone. There is no volcano in Himalayas because there is no subduction. There is no water and there is no subduction, no oceanic plate. Before that, before occlusion of this sea, initial period, there might have been volcano. Due to that, the igneous rocks are common in Greater Himalayas and not in Trans Himalayas. Okay. So, Greater Himalayas we have seen, Lesser Himalayas. So, here also there is no much of fossils. The sediments are there but unfossiliferous, not of fossil kind. Okay. So, it is subjected to extensive erosion but not Greater Himalayas. Why? Because the Greater Himalayas is at more of northern aspect and higher altitude. Erosion needs precipitation. Precipitation is the rainfall. Okay, the rainfall would be comparatively lesser in the greater Himalayas compared to the lesser Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas receives more rainfall, so more extensive erosion in the lesser Himalayas. Okay, so then the Shivaliks. So again, you have the numbers there. Up to 45 kilometers. Okay. The Shivalik extend only between this region to up to river Teesta. Up to river Teesta. And that too, it is not a continuous. It is relatively broader in the west compared to the east. Made up of sandstones, sand rocks, clay, conglomerates, limestone of upper tertiary period. Completely sedimentary. All are sedimentary rock. Leave this tertiary period. Tertiary period is the geological time scale. It is in the past. Okay. Some past period. If you are knowing, better. If you are not knowing, also leave it. Between the Shivaliks and the lesser Himalayas, this region between the Shivalik and the lesser Himalayas, the valley is known as dunes, Dehradun. That is the important dunes, Dehradun, Potli Dune. Even Kathmandu, capital of Nepal, is a dune. Kathmandu, capital of Nepal, is a dune. Dehradun, Potli Dune, Kathmandu, all are dunes. Dune is the valley or a space, the region between the Shivaliks and the lesser Himalayas. Dune. So before that, kindly pardon me, I have to say something here. In the lesser Himalayas, the ranges. Here we have some named ranges in the lesser Himalayas. Pir Panjal, Dauladar are the two ranges. Okay. Pir Panjal is in Kashmir. Dauladar is slightly into the Himachal and Uttarakhand. Pir Panjal and Dauladar. The Dauladar range is called as Dauladar in Himachal. It is known as Dauladar in Himachal. HP, it is called as Dauladar. In Uttarakhand, it is known as Nag Tiba Hill. Nag Tiba in Uttarakhand. But same range. So these are the two ranges which belong to the lesser Himalayas. Only these forms the lesser Himalayas. Then we have seen the Shivaliks are the outer Himalayas. Okay, that's it. We have seen it. And then these are the ranges. This is the map from Majid Hussain. So where the boundary, fault, everything would have been marked here. So again, Himalayas are also classified. Now we have seen the vertical classification from north to south. North to south, cross-sectional we have classified. Now east to west, how the Himalayas are classified. Two ways of classifying Himalayas here. One thing is regional, another thing is state-wise. State-wise it is easy. Kashmir Himalaya, Himachal Himalayas, Kumam Himalayas or Uttarakhand Himalaya, then Sikkim Himalaya, Arunachal Himalayas, then Purvanchal are the eastern hills. Okay. So eastern hills like this. This is the classification given in the NCERT, but sometimes this may also be asked. Okay. Between river Indus and Sutlej, it is known as Punjab Himalaya. Between Indus and Sutlej, it is known as Punjab Himalaya. Between Sutlej and Kali river, it is known as Kuman Himalaya. Between Kali and Teesta, it is known as Nepal Himalaya. Beyond Teesta, it is known as Assam Himalaya. Beyond Teesta and the entire thing is known as Assam Himalaya up to Brahmaputra. Okay, based on that is regional divisions. This is state-wise division. Very simple. Okay, autochthonous means it is the origin is original. It is not from the lesser Himalayas are not from the greater Himalayas. They have originally, the mountain has been built by the tectonic folding. One is, see, it's K2 and Gasherbrum. One of the question is there, what are the peaks of Karakoram range? K2 and Gasherbrum. It's very easy, you can check in the Google. Okay, regional division, I will explain again. Between Indus and Sutlej river, Punjab Himalayas. Between Sutlej and Kali river, Kuman Himalayas. Kuman region or Kuman Himalayas. Between Kali and Teesta river, it is Nepal Himalayas. Between Teesta and Brahmaputra, Assam Himalayas. Might be asked in prelims. Also, you can give another dimension in mains answer writing. Okay. So now we will take a 5 minutes break. So exactly 1.5 hours from where we have started, like 1 hour 15 minutes at least. So we'll take a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue in the post break the class. Hello. Yeah, we will continue with the session. So next we are moving to see some brief points, some of the points which might be of help for the prelims. So region wise or state wise. Okay, the Kashmir Himalayas. What is the importance of Kashmir Himalayas? You find Karakoram, Ladakh, Saskar, Pir Panjal range. Karakoram, Ladakh, Saskar are trans-Himalayan range. Pir Panjal is the lesser Himalayan range. And then the Himadri will always be there. Himadri or the greater Himalayas will always be there. Okay. They form the Kashmir Himalayas. And the northeastern part, you know that it is cold desert. Cold desert. Kashmir Valley and Dal Lake. Kashmir Valley and Dal Lake are there in the Kashmir Himalayan region, and especially the Kashmir Valley is, the boundary is towards the southwestern aspect or southern aspect. It is Pir Panjal range, lesser Himalaya. Northern aspect is Himalayas. The Great Himalayas would be here and Pir Panjal range would be here. In between, the Kashmir Valley is here. Okay. The north is Great Himalaya, Greater Himalaya. Southern aspect is Lesser Himalayas, or the part of Lesser Himalaya is Pir Panjal range. This is Kashmir Valley. Kashmir Valley is bounded by Greater Himalayas in the northern aspect and Lesser Himalayas or Pir Panjal range in the southern aspect. And the valley is drained by Jhelum river. Kashmir Valley is drained by Jhelum rivers. We have already seen the glaciers, Baltora, Siachen, Biafo, Hisper, all the glaciers we have seen. Then another feature is Kariva deposits. The Kariva deposits are the deposition made by the glaciers. Okay, the glaciers, they bring the thick clay, glacial clay and deposits. Glacial clay and moraine. Moraine is also a depositional landform of glacier. Moraine is also deposits by glaciers. They form the Kariva deposits that is useful for saffron cultivation. That is useful for saffron cultivation. Okay, some of the important passes in the Kashmir Himalayas. Sojila in the Greater Himalayas. Banihal Pass in the Pir Panjal range. Potula Pass in the Saskar range. It is obstructing, that is Kardungla. Dungla. La means pass. Kardungla Pass. Kardungla. Kardungla Pass in Ladakh range. These are the important passes in the, everything will be like here only around the Kashmir region. Sojila in the Greater Himalaya, Banihal in the Pir Panjal, Potula in the Saskar and Kardungla in the Ladakh range. Again, with the atlas, please mark it and then have it. So once you mark it only, like you will tend to remember, and revision will also be easy. For passes, for ranges, glaciers, peaks, always go for, whenever you are reading, take a plain map and mark it simultaneously when you are looking in the at least you mark it also so that it get registered. Do the map. Okay. So that is regarding the Kashmir or the northwestern Himalayas. Another slide I have. Lakes. Freshwater lakes are two lakes. Dal Lake and Ular Lake. Okay, Dal Lake and Ular Lake. Both Dal Lake was like presently it is cut off from Jhelum, but Ular Lake is still fed by Jhelum River. Both are formed from the Jhelum River only. Dal Lake and Ular Lake near Kashmir Valley only. Okay. Then Saltwater Lake in the this side. Saltwater Lake would be this side of the Kashmir. Here, Pangong Tso and Tso Moriri. Or Tso means lake. Pangong Tso and Tso Moriri are the two lakes, saltwater lakes. And then river, major rivers are Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Pilgrimage Center, Vaishno Devi, Amarnath Cave, Char-e Sharif. Dune formation between the greater Himalayas and the lesser Himalayas. It is the dune formation. Jammu Dune, Patankot Dune. Sorry, it is between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks. Between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks, dunes are formed. Jammu Dune and Patankot Dune. So largely it is prelims orientation only. Shall I move? Dunes are between, I have already, it is not dunes, it is dune, D-O-O-N or D-U-N. Between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivalik range. Okay. Take down the notes if you want to take. Everything it is, most of the things are there in the NCERT. If you are having NCERT, you can underline there only. Whichever is not there, you can mark it there. Be quick so that we can complete. Okay, Sojila, Banihal, Potula, Kardungla. Okay. Lakes are Dal and Ular, Pangong Tso and Tso Moriri. Rivers Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Pilgrimage Center, Vaishno Devi, Amarnath, Char-e Sharif. Dune are Jammu Dune and Patankot Dune are important dunes. Okay. Next, Himachal, Himalayas. So the rivers are Ravi, Bias, Satluj, Yamuna and Gagra. Yamuna and Gagra. Towards Indus side, Ravi, Bias, Satluj flows to Indus. Yamuna and Gagra flows to Ganga. Flows into Ganga. So there we told that it is the eastern aspect is desert. Here the northern aspect is cold desert. Lahul, Spiti. Beyond that, it is cold desert. One important feature of Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalayas is all three ranges of Himalayas are prominent and represented. Okay, all three ranges means the greater Himalayas, lesser Himalayas, and then the Shivalik range. All three ranges are very prominently present in this region only. So other places one might be like Greater Himalayas is a continuous range that will be there. Lesser Himalayas is present only in the western aspect. Western aspect means towards Kashmir and Himachal Uttarakhand. Nepal Himalayas and all will not have the lesser Himalayas. Okay. This also will be missing in many places, like beyond Teesta River in the Assam Himalayas and all, Shivaliks won't be there. Okay. Only the this Greater Himalayas would be there. All three ranges are represented or prominent in Uttarakhand Himalayas. Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalayas. You understand that point. That is the only conceptual point. Other things are factual. Okay, a question can be from that. All three Himalayas are present in, another name is Kuman Himalayas. This Uttarakhand Himalaya is, another name is Kuman. Kuman, Kuman Himalayas. Okay, the British administration, hill stations were there. Dharmashala, Mussoorie, Shimla, we can, Lansdowne, Ranikhet, all these things are hill stations. Okay. If you are taken, go for the next slide. And this dune formation, here also some important dunes are there. Chandigarh, Kalka Dune, Nalagarh Dune, Dehradun, Harki Dune, Kota Dune. These are the important dunes in, not dunes, just dunes. Dunes in Himachal, Uttarakhand, Himalayas. It is in this region, Valley of Flowers National Park in Uttarakhand. And most of this Gangotri, Yamunotri, all the origin of Gangetic rivers, Yamunotri are in Uttarakhand Himalayas. Gangotri, Yamunotri. So I am moving to the next slide. Okay, it's given. I have, that is also there. Okay. Again, the dunes are there, and then pilgrim center, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath. All these places are there in Himachal and Uttarakhand Himalayas. Okay, coming to Darjeeling, Sikkim Himalayas. Here, the Teesta River is the draining river. Kanchenjunga is an important peak. The tea cultivation is started by the British people because the physical conditions are helping the tea cultivation. The soil with good organic content, the fertility of the soil, and the slope is also not very steep. It is a moderate, gentle slope is there in this region. So tea cultivation is started by the British. Here, Shivalik is absent. Shivalik is absent here. Okay. Here, Duar formations like dune, there, Duar formation is very common here. What is Duar? Duar is the foothill of the mountain. Foothill of the mountain. And the alluvium or the alluvial soil which is from the eroded from the mountains, that is being deposited there. So that forms the Duar region. D-U-A-R, Duar. They are, mountain is there. So here foothill, the river, whichever the river flows, that will deposit all the alluvial soil. This is known as Duar. Duar formation, that is very fertile, and the water will also be very much available. So it is famous for wildlife. The Duars are famous for wildlife. Okay, again, rich flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna means animals. Okay, orchids are the plants which usually like hang from the trees. So orchids would be the plants which would be growing on the other trees. So such type of plants are very common in this region. NCERT also mentioned about a tribe, Lepcha tribe. In this region, Lepcha tribal people in this region, they reside at the higher altitudes in the mountains. Okay, that's it about the Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas. Okay, this slide okay, Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas, nothing much here. Then we are coming to the Arunachal Himalayas. It is between the peaks Kangtu and Namcha Barwa. Kangtu is also a peak and Namcha Barwa is also a peak. Kangtu is somewhere here. Namcha Barwa is somewhere here. Okay. It is known as Arunachal Himalayas. So here also very fast flowing rivers are there. Okay. The rivers dissect the Himalayas, dissected by fast flowing rivers. The river names are given in the next line. Kameng, Subansri, Dihang, Dibang, Lohit are the rivers. Kameng, Subansri, Dihang, Dibang, Lohit are the rivers. Okay. So since it is a very fast flowing rivers, hydroelectric potential is very high. Hydroelectric potential is very high. The tribals who are present here, they do jumming. And you also know that whether it is visible, I don't know. Due to the flowing rivers, the Himalayas are cut into different hills. Dafla, Mirri, Abor, Mishmi. These are the hills. From here to this is Dafla, Mirri, Abor, Mishmi. So they may ask you to arrange it from east to west or west to east, like that. Dafla, Mirri, Abor, Mishmi. And the tribes are also very similar to the hills name only. Abor, Mishmi, Nagas, Monpa are the tribal name. Monpa, Abor, Mishmi, Nagas are the tribal people there. So they practice jumming or the shifting cultivation. Slash and burn and cultivate. What is jumming? Zooming means they go to a particular forest region, hilly terrain, forest covered by forest. They cut all the tree and they cultivate. They cut and burn the whatever the ground growth, whatever the growth is there, they will burn it, and then they will cut all the tree and burn it, and then they will cultivate whatever they want to cultivate. And then after once or twice cultivation, they don't again go for fertilizing it, again recultivating it. They go to next place, and then they will start slashing and burning and then cultivating, and they will move on to the next place. Since the land availability is very high, they are able to do this. But it is very environmentally, it is very damaging effect. It may cause soil erosion and loss of forest cover. A forest would have grown for hundreds of years. Suddenly on a one day, it will be cut and burnt. That is zooming. Namcha Barwa is in Arunachal. Namcha Barwa is in Arunachal. It is the point where the technically it is in Arunachal only. Who is controlling, I don't know. Maybe China may be controlling the area, but technically on map it is in Arunachal. Namcha Barwa is the place where the Brahmaputra takes a U-turn and comes into India. And it forms a gorge there, Namcha Barwa. Dafla, Mirri, Abor, Mishmi. It is from west to east. This is west, this is east. Okay, we will go on to the next. The Eastern Hills. Eastern Hills. Eastern Hills is the north to south range. Okay, the hills are arranged from north to south. Here also the zoom cultivation is famous, and the rivers are very small. Barak is one important river here. Okay, Barak somewhere flows here in this region. It flows through 5 states. Barak is an important river. We will see when we are dealing with the drainage system. Okay, river. Barak is an important river for Manipur and Mizoram. Loktak is a lake in Manipur. Loktak is a lake in Manipur. Example for central drainage, that also we will see while dealing with drainage. Loktak is a lake in Manipur. Barak is a river, important river for Manipur and Mizoram. Molasses basin. The Mizoram is made up of molasses basin, which is the term for unconsolidated deposits. The deposits are collected and it is yet to be consolidated or lithified. It is unconsolidated deposit. For unconsolidated deposits, the term is molasses basin. Molasses basin. Chindwin is the river in Manipur. It joins Airavati. It flows this side towards east and joins the Airavati. Airavati, it runs through Myanmar. Chindwin is in Manipur. That is a tributary of Airavati river. Okay. Here, from north to south, the order of hills is important. Patkai Bum. This is Patkai Bum. Naga Hills, Mizo Hills. Naga Hills, Mizo Hills, from north to south. Similarly, here also Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, Meghalaya Plateau. We will deal Meghalaya Plateau along with the peninsular India because it is part of peninsula. But you can know here also Patkai Bum, Naga Hills, Miso Hills, north to south. Here Khasi, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. Okay. Yes, yes. All these hills are part of Himalayas only. It is like this part is also Himalayas only. Next. So these are the passes. It is nothing more to explain here. Just you need to get familiarized with the names, familiarize with the passes names. It might be very small also. I have taken it from Majid Hussain book, Indian geography book. Any good atlas will also give you the passes. You have to do it on an Indian map. That is the only way. And they may ask you to identify the range, on which range the particular pass is there, or they may ask you to arrange from north to south or east to west, like this. The Banihal, Baralachala, Sojila, these passes and all, they may ask you to arrange east to west. So whether which of the following arrangement is right, like that. These passes they may ask you to arrange north to south, and then the Nathula, Jalapala. So they can ask you like state and passes, which of the following state and passes are matched properly, in which state the particular pass is coming from. So whenever you are reading a pass, range, in which range, mountain range, okay, in which range it is there, which state it is there. If it connects, for example, the peninsular passes and all connects two cities or two regions. So what does it connect? Okay, like that you have to read. So anything can be asked, and relative location, east to west or north to south, like that. So these things you have to concentrate and read, and the best way to learn passes is to do the map and then learn. So have some mnemonics. For example, you can Mintaka, Agil, Quara, Taga, 4. MAQT, like the top 4 passes. Here Lanakla, Dimjorla, Changla, Charala, Himisla, Shipkila. Like that it will be coming. Some rhyming words like that you can have, and have some mnemonics. Here and all it is easy, like 1 or 2 passes only will be coming. Nathula, Jalapala, these are 2 passes in Sikkim. Bumla, Tungla, Yongakla, Dipu, Pangeo, these passes and all. Here you can learn because it is less in number. Here it is little bit more concentrated. So you have to be learning these things. But I would suggest you to learn, because prelims is very important. Like each and every question, there might be like the competition is so high. You should not miss this opportunity. This is not so difficult. It will look like difficult if you are trying to memorize in a single day. If you are having it marked in a map and once in a while, like once in a week or sometimes if you spend 10-15 minutes, it will become easier and you will become familiar. Okay, so that wise I would suggest you to learn. Then similarly the glaciers, again the book is Majid Hussain. So here he had given the glacier in little bit clear way, and atlas also, some good atlas may be having glaciers marked very rightly. Here also the arrangement, here states it is less possibility because more of the glaciers would be only in this region. Okay, so glacier means range, in which mountain range it is, and then the arrangement east to west or north to south sort of a thing, and which river it gives rise to. Okay, which river it gives rise to, that can be a one of the possible aspect they might be asking about glaciers. Okay, so we have dealt some of the glaciers, and then like it is all factual things only, nothing to explain here. Okay, this also do it in a map. Okay, have many little state maps. Since you have the benefit of internet, you can take many state maps or Indian map, get printouts and do it often. Like whenever you are reading, have a map and mark it, so you will be able to recollect during the exams. Okay, now we have finished the Himalayas. We are moving to the plains. Okay, this I told you, connect which two places, relative location. Relative location means east to west, north to south, something like that. Okay, relative location of two passes or two glaciers, east to west, north to south. Okay, now we are moving to the northern plains. So geologically, like we have told that Himalayas, like that geologically, it is the geosynclinal depression filled by sediments from the mountains. Depth of the deposit is 1000 to 2000 meter. This region we are speaking about. Okay, Gangetic plain, the northern plains, Indo-Gangetic, Brahmaputra plain, these also included. Okay, so it is a geosynclinal depression, and then they are filled by the sediments. The deposits are 1000 to 2000 meter in depth. The depth of the deposits increases this side. This side it is, the depth of the deposits are more compared to this side. Little bit doubt whether yeah, I'm right. I think towards east the deposit depth increases. So anyway, in the next class I will confirm. Okay, I have a slight doubt. Okay, so this geosynclinal depression I will explain once again. So when the Indian plate, Eurasian plate, same thing, went, this Tethys Sea has been raised as a mountain and Tibetan plateau. For this rise, there was a small dip here. These are the mountain ranges. Okay, so this depression is known as syncline. okay, syncline, and it is looking like a fault also. See, Himalayan front fault, okay, Himalayan front fault. When this is broken and it is going down, it is Himalayan front fault. And this had water initially, and slowly because of the sediments, whatever the eroded material from the mountain get deposited here and then formed the northern plains. Okay, geosynclinal depression is the origin. You need not explain with the diagram and all, like it is beyond the scope of general studies. So, but if you are able to remember that it is geosynclinal origin, then it is fine. It is filled by sediments. Next. So, here the points are alluvial deposits. River wise, it is divided into Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra plains, and state wise also the division is given in the slide. Slate wise, Rajasthan plains, Sutlej, Yamuna plains are the Punjab plain, Upper Ganga plain, Middle Ganga plain, Lower Ganga plain, and then Brahmaputra plain. That is within the subdivisions, like generally Brahmaputra is the larger division of the northern plains. Okay, the length, width and depth all are given there. Length, width and depth are given there. Okay, here mainly 4 terminologies are important. Babar, Tarai, Bangar, Kadar. This thing, Babar, Tarai, Bangar, Kadar. These are the 4 terms which are important. What is Babar? So, we told that this is the greater Himalayas, and then lesser Himalayas, and then Shivalik, and then comes the plain. Now I am drawing, this is towards north. The orientation has changed, okay. This is greater Himalayas, lesser Himalayas, Shivaliks, and then the plains, okay. Immediately in the foothills of Himalayas, all the rocks and boulders, if a river is flowing here, the river is flowing something like this, it would be, the velocity of the river would be very high in this region. When it comes here, the velocity decreases. So the larger stones, the larger sediments will be deposited here. That is known as alluvial fan. Alluvial fan. So, like vertically if you see, like in a front view if you see, it will be like this. The mountains are here. The coarser particle, the bigger particle will be deposited first. The smaller particle get arranged like this. Okay, it will be looking like a fan. It is known as alluvial fan. Okay, that region where the deposition of the coarser material, the coarser particle, the boulder stones are there, that is known as Babar. Babar, just in the foothills, Shivalik foothills, that is known as Babar. What happens in that Babar, since it is coarser, the river will be coming like this. The river from this side one river, this side one river, and then in the valley one river will be coming, and it will come and deposit everything here. And since it is coarser, it will get disappeared. It will go underneath, beneath the coarser deposits, and it will also divide. It will also divide. The river will divide. So the rivers disappear in this region. It's look like for a general observer from outside, it look like the river is not there, but it would be flowing beneath the deposits. like in this map, if you want to see, the river will be flowing like this. But what we will be observing, only the deposits will be superficially we can see. The river will be flowing below the deposits. And after the deposits, it will again, the individual rivers, whatever the distributaries are formed, they will again join and they will form a main river and they will start flowing. So the Bhabar is the region where the river disappears and coarser materials are deposited in the foothills. Okay, that is Bhabar. Tarai is the next to Bhabar. Next to Bhabar, this region is Tarai. This is Bhabar. This is Tarai region. Tarai region is the region where the separated tributaries, they will join ahead again. So I will take a separate map, separate diagram. Okay, so this is the Shivaliks. I told you the river will be coming from here also, and then a river will be flowing in the valley and it will come here. When it reaches the foothill, it deposits. The bigger boulders are deposited first, and then the smaller ones are deposited like this. Like it will not be so huge like a mountain only. Small alluvial fans would be deposited. So the river go underneath. It will not be visible here because of it is flowing underneath. So after the alluvial fan, it will again, all the distributaries will join together and form the river again. This region is known as Tarai. Here you don't see a river at all. Here the river is spread out. So most of the land would be covered by water. Marshy region. Marshy means water logging, or the water would be covering the most of the part. Okay. So this is the Tarai region. In cross section wise, it would be next to the, if it is a cross section, it would be next to the foothills. This is Bhabar, then the next region is Tarai. Here biodiversity will be very high because it is the between the both this region, Bhabar and Tarai, this is one ecosystem, mountain ecosystem. After this it is going to be plain. It is between two ecosystem. We call by a term known as ecotone. Ecotone is the boundary between two ecosystem, mountain ecosystem and the plain ecosystem. It is the border between two ecosystem. So the animals and plants belonging to both the ecosystem will be there. So rich in biodiversity. Both Bhabar and Tarai, biodiverse regions. Marshy, biodiverse regions. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we have seen what is Bhabar and what is Tarai. Then Bangar and Khadar. Bangar and Khadar. I will remove all the diagrams. This Bhabar, Tarai we have seen. Bangar and Khadar. What is Bangar and Khadar? Now this is a cross section of a river. A river is flowing. It is what I am drawing is a cross section. Okay. The river would be flowing here in a normal flow. But during flood, during recent floods and all, it would have flown up to this part. Okay, up to this part. When the river is flowing up to this level, the alluvium which are brought, it would have been deposited here. Okay, this is known as newer alluvium. Which one is close to river is known as Kadar. Kadar. But these alluvium, when the river is flooding so huge, once in a while, once in 5 years, 10 years, like that, every year this alluvium would be renewed yearly. So, but these, whenever the high, huge flood is there only, this alluvium will be renewed far away from the river. Okay, this is known as old alluvium. It is Bangar. Old alluvium. Once in a while, once in 5 years, once in 10 years, whenever the water level rises huge, only then that alluvium will be deposited here. It is nearby the river, it is Kadar, it is new. Almost every year the alluvium will be replenished. Okay. I used to remember Bangar, Padasu, Ba. Okay. Kadar is new alluvium. These are the 4 terminologies you need to remember regarding the plains: Babar, Tarai, Bangar, Kadar. Next, delta is the depositional activity when the river reaches near the sea. Okay, delta. Crops, you know, wheat, rice are the common crops cultivated here. Wheat, rice, sugarcane, jute are the crops cultivated in these parts. Okay. Then we are moving to the peninsular India. Peninsular India. So here, boundaries of the peninsular India, from where, how we can mark the boundary of a peninsular India. Then we will see what is the geology, and then slope, physiography, relief, hills and peaks. Okay, boundary, when we mark the boundaries of peninsular India, first the Aravalli mountain. Aravalli mountain in the here the Kathiawar peninsula, and then Raj Mahal hills in the east, parallel to the Ganga Yamuna rivers. Raj Mahal hills in the east, Aravalli mountain and the Delhi ridge. Aravalli mountain and the Delhi ridge, Raj Mahal hills. Here you can take it, this Kathiawar peninsula or Gir hills. Gir. There is a hills known as Gir hills. Here it is Raj Mahal hills. Mahal hills. This is extension of Aravalli or Delhi ridge. And then the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, they form the south. It is Cardamom hills. The point is Cardamom hills. Cardamom hills. These are the boundary of peninsular India. They are the old and most stable landmass. Old landmass and most stable landmass. They have undergone recurrent phases of upliftment, submergence, faulting, fractures. Geologically, they have undergone recurrent phases of upliftment. Upliftment means the land would be raised. Submergence. Submergence means it will again go inside the, it will go down and become lower than the water level. Submergence. Fractures. Fractures means breaking. And faults. Okay, upliftment, submergence, fractures, and FRACT, fractures and faults. This has occurred in the peninsular region many times. Okay, they are old stable land masses. Old stable land masses. Okay. Then important features are slope is from this side to this side only, from northwest to southeast, east and southeast, the slope. This I have shown for what are all the geological phenomena which have happened, what are all the features, like when we observe the land features, what we will have. I have already told you one thing, relic mountains. Mountains, that is one phenomenon. Tars. What is tars? Like a mountain would be fractured and made into boulders, but that would be standing there like this. A mountain would be, instead of mountain, rocks would be there. Multiple boulders would be standing there, okay, like this. These are tars, like a pile of boulders. Tars is a landform which is found in the, okay. Rift valleys. Rift valleys are the places where the river flows. Rift valleys. Okay. Relic mountains, tars, rift valleys, and then some block mountains also. Block mountains. Block mountains example, Vindhya Satpura. Block mountains. Okay, these are the features. Geomorphic features which are present in the peninsular India. Geomorphic features. These are the phenomena which have occurred. Upliftment, submergence, fractures, faults. These things have created those features. Okay. Then physiography we will deal one by one, and then we will see some hills and peaks. Okay. We will check for some hills and peaks now itself. Here also. So we know from here Aravalli we have seen, Aravalli and Delhi Ridge, Aravalli mountains and Delhi Ridge. Here the important peak is Guru Shikhar, Mount Guru Shikhar. Mount Guru Shikhar is the highest peak. Then Vindhya Satpura, Vindhya Satpura range. Vindhya Satpura. Satpura is Mahadev range, then Maikala range. I will label it little bit later. Milan Hills, okay. This is Vindhya, Satpura, Mahadev, Maikal, this is Milan Hills. Nearby Milan only, this side it is Sonpar Hills. Sonpar, towards right hand side it is Milan Hills. Here it is Ramgarh, G-A-R-H, Ramgarh. Here Rajmahal Hills. Okay. Then Odisha Hills, Nayagarh Hills, so I will give a different color so that you can identify. I will give along with that a red. Okay, these are the hills we have already checked. Then here Satmala, below the Satpura range, Satmala and Ajanta, Satmala and Ajanta. Below that Harishchandra and Balghat. Satmala, Ajanta, Harishchandra, Balghat. Here you have continuous hills, the Eastern Ghats hills. Okay, starts with Cardamom Hills. From the bottom, it starts with Cardamom Hills. And then Palani Hills. From bottom onwards, I am telling Palani Hills, Sirumalai Hills, Sirumalai Hills, Panchamalai Hills, Shevarai Hills, Javadi Hills, Sheshachalam Hills, Nagari Hills, then 3 Palgonda, Venugonda Hills, Venugonda Hills, then Nallamala Hills. They are continuously like this up to this point. This side it is only after Cardamom, it is Aanaimalai Hills and Nilgiri Hills. Aanaimalai Hills and Nilgiri Hills. This is Aanaimalai and Nilgiri. Okay. So where this has become important? Again, the relative positioning from north to south, east to west. In this region, they may ask you to identify the east to west arrangement. Here, this region, they may ask you to arrange the hills north to south or south to north. And peaks also, like we have the Doddabedda, Aanaimudy, two peaks in Aanaimalai Hills. Aanaimudy is there. Nilgiri, it is Doddabedda. Then here Mahabaleshwar peak is there. Mahabaleshwar peak in Maharashtra. Okay. So these peaks also they may ask you to arrange from north to south or south to north. Okay. So largely it is a map reading sort of a thing. So go to a proper atlas and take a India map and then mark everything and then have a slow learning. So that would see you through for this sort of questions. This is prelim sort of a question. In mains you need not write this much extensively. You can write everything like one examples like Eastern Ghats example Palgonda, Venugonda Hills. Okay, like that. Western Ghats, Nilgiri Hills is an example. Like that you can write in mains. But for prelims, if they are asking you to arrange from north to south, east to west and all, you need to be prepared. Okay. So we are running out of time. Any doubts so far? Yeah. Class is over. I'm going to again tell the mountains, hills which I have dictated once again. Only that. From south to north, I'm reading it again. Cardamom Hills, Palani Hills, Sirumalai Hills, Panchamalai Hills, Shervarai Hills, Javadi Hills, Nagari Hills, Palgonda Hills, Venugonda Hills, Nallamala Hills. Okay. These are the hills from south to. So like largely if you are knowing 2-3 hills like relative location, remaining you can make it through exclusion method and all. Okay. So we'll try to complete this in the next class and then we'll go ahead with the drainage system in the next class. Okay. Thank you all. Meet you in the next class.